Okay. All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Pivoting Your Business in the Face of COVID-19 or Other Disruptors. I'm Christine Lawton. I'm a partner at Nolan Hyman. Okay, so what sets me and Nolan Hyman apart, is that we're hands-on day-to-day business lawyers who help media, entertainment, and brand businesses turn digital disruption into business opportunities. So in reality, in virtual reality, I'm your ride or die. So we don't offer dry opinions or do deals in the abstract. I'm really a legal innovator and deal maker who strategizes with digital businesses and creates new, scalable, profitable digital ecosystems with you. So you want me around because I've navigated more global consumer experience businesses through shitstorms than any lawyer I know. And I'm just the lawyer who's going to meaningfully strategize with you and then do deals that create those ecosystems that help you deliver the amazing immersive consumer experiences that you guys all make across media, entertainment, and brands. And until I joined Nolan Hyman as a partner, that's what I did at Disney, DreamWorks, Universal, and Fox in home entertainment and television distribution. So I did deals that changed business models and created digital platforms, working across the table from companies like Apple and Netflix, Amazon, Google, Ubisoft, HP, Felix and Paul, the BRC. So today I'm going to share some of what I've learned to innovate and adapt around COVID's challenges and other disruptors too. So I'll give you VR experts some free advice and practical tips and some examples of some interesting real world LBE VR pivots. So at the end of our short time together, you'll have a roadmap that's going to help you navigate your own successful LBE VR pivot, and you'll have me to contact when you need help along the way. So what the F happened?
Already, at least.
COVID effectively kicked the shit out of every kind of LBE business that's out there, and VR was not spared. So in August 14th, 2020, Sandbox VR filed for bankruptcy, and that's a company that had about $80 million in outside funding from companies like Andreessen Horowitz, Alibaba, Stanford University. It even had celebrity backing from people like Justin Timberlake and Will Smith. And then in the same month, Spaces VR was foundering, and Facebook said it was pulling Beat Saber out of arcades. And let's not forget all of the other LBE businesses like movie theaters, theme parks, hotels, cruise ships, restaurants, bars, even brick and mortar retail. So in the face of major disruption, even when you can see the world turned upside down, pivoting is really hard. And many companies, they find it incredibly difficult. So why is that?
Do you know if our
Well, first, it's hard to define your own reinvention. When the ground has fallen out from under you, it's hard to crawl out of that hole and decide where you're going to go and how to get there. That requires objective reassessment of yourself, your goals, your resources, and some real soul searching. Second, it's hard to understand the changing elements of an existing business and how to change them to a new reality. So this presentation is going to address both of those issues and hopefully help you understand where you might go and the elements of your existing business that can help you get there. So a successful pivot really has to address three elements: a customer value proposition, something that fulfills an important job or need that a customer has, the resources and processes that can deliver on that value proposition, and a profit formula. So that's going to be a model that's going to make the company money on delivering on that value proposition. So in a pivot, it really helps to look at the last component first. So that's considering the resources and processes that you already have that provide superior goods or services. So resources are going to be things like your software, your know-how, relationships with third party, the people who work with you inside your organization, your technology, your equipment, your partnerships, and your brand. Processes are going to be the things that allow you to deliver value in scalable and repeatable ways. Things like supply chain, physical or digital operations management. And it's helpful for LBE VR companies to think about, your brand, your software, your people being the key resources, and your brand building and platform management being critical processes. So now let's talk about the customer. To create value for customers, you're going to have to identify who your target customer might be. In a COVID world, for LBE, where in-person location-based opportunities are going to be really limited, you have to consider needs of non-LBE scenarios, customers who might be completely outside of the ecosystem that you're already working in. Then you need to define what job that customer needs to do, needs to get done, and then create an offering, hopefully using your processes and resources that gets that job done for the customer. To help identify customer needs, it's really helpful to think about the four most common barriers that keep people from getting important jobs done. And that's kind of insufficiency of four different classes: money, access, skills, or time. So to deliver on a customer value proposition, you want to think primarily how you can, one, do a job that the customer needs to get done better than it's currently being done, or solve a new customer problem, two, or three, even serve a previously unserved customer. So let's look at some recent LBE VR pivots that take these three elements into account. So let's look at Spaces VR. I'm sure many of you have heard about Spaces and kind of what it's been up to lately. It thought about how people were working from home, living their entire lives at home, and really struggling to meet, exchange information, and connect emotionally. People needed to do these things better, faster, and more collaboratively. So Spaces used its VR capabilities to create remote collaboration tools. So presenters can show up in VR like we're doing here. They can connect VR to video chats like Zoom and Hangouts and Teams and WebEx. Spaces tools can also create avatars, backgrounds, virtual environments, things like meeting rooms, showroom floors like this one, stages for keynote speeches, broadcast sets, even newsrooms. So they do customized environments, as well as they have some ready-made tools. But beyond business tools, Spaces can facilitate personal experiences. So things like birthday parties, weddings, all kinds of celebrations. So that means that if you're in the LBE VR arcade business, you could use Spaces VR tools and then partner with people like event planners, athletic trainers, dance instructors, all kinds of people to develop entirely new social and emotional experiences that create brand new revenue opportunities that aren't tied to a specific location. Oh, and yeah, the big caveat on Spaces though is that it was bought by Apple at the end of the summer, so we're gonna have to see what their ultimate pivot is. But moving ahead, let's look to DreamWorks Immersive. So that company had investors like Warner Media, Viacom, Disney, Steven Spielberg. They have LBE locations in California and Dubai. So you figure, hey, this is a company destined for success, right? Well, not if no one can come to those locations. But with online learning now the only viable option for many students, and this is at every age or school type, Dreamscape recognized its ability to use its VR tools to fill an urgent customer need by offering compelling learning tools. So on September 18th of this year, Dreamscape Immersive and Arizona State University announced Dreamscape Learn. That's a content partnership where Dreamscape repurposed Alien Zoo content, which it had at its arcade, to bring cutting edge learning experiences to VR learners worldwide. So it's really easy to think about the expansions that this could lead to. It could, level the playing field, the educational playing field across, socioeconomically or across aptitudes of auditory, visual, or experiential learners. So this is really exciting because it's not something that's limited to Dreamscape. So here's a pivot in the making that I think is interesting. So Sensorium Galaxy, similar to concert plays that we've seen from Wave and even within Fortnite, if you're Russian billionaire Mikhail Prokhorov and Jay-Z is a buddy, then Sensorium Galaxy might be more your speed. So in late August of this year, Jay-Z's music streaming service Tidal spent $7 million on Senso tokens, which are the in-world currency of Sensorium Galaxy. And that's a new VR social meta space under construction and touted for launch in 2021. Sensorium Galaxy is going to be a place for alternate world concerts, nightclubs, and festivals. Tidal, whose artist co-owners include Jay-Z, as well as other performers like Lil Wayne, Rihanna, Calvin Harris, Daft Punk, and Coldplay's Chris Martin, have acquired access to broadcast their content within the Sensorium Gallery. So Sensorium Galaxy, it remains to be seen, but the pivot addresses urgent consumer needs for sure. So needs of artists, needs of people to gather socially, needs to be part of the creation and enjoyment of entertainment. So as promising as these or any pivots are, they need to make money to be sustainable and scalable. So doing that takes a well-designed profit formula that addresses revenue models and cost structures. So like for Spaces VR, they clearly sold collaboration tools and services to new enterprise customers, most likely through license or sales fees. For other VR creators or platforms, this kind of pivot can have numerous other educational as well as enterprise applications. Dreamscape found a partner for existing content, so a bit of an underwriter. And they most likely charge fees for adapting content and creating new content for specific educational purposes. It's not a stretch at all to believe that for the foreseeable future for them, that model will be repeatable and scalable, but it could be for Dreamscape or other VR creators and platforms. For Sensorium Galaxy, there was an immediate positive financial outcome, at least for Sensorium, in the form of titles purchase of $7 million worth of Senso tokens, but it remains to be seen whether consumers are going to pay for the Sensorium Galaxy experience. So the jury's still out on that profit formula. So business disruptions created by COVID or otherwise can make or break your business, but there's no time for opinion letters or white papers, things like that. You need immediate, effective, experienced help. And I really believe that's why Nolan Hyman is your ride or die. Guidance from lawyers with real operational experience, which most of us have, and business acumen. It's just exceptionally rare in lawyers and valuable for businesses because that can create the greatest number of potential pivot options. So that knowledge is especially especially of relationships, ecosystems, and negotiations, is really important to the three elements of a pivot. So, for example, let's talk about relationships. They travel and grow with you. So through my time at Disney, DreamWorks, Universal, and Fox, I developed really strong relationships, and they've strengthened over time. And now many of those executives are at LBE, VR, or AR companies, places like Dreamscape, Netflix, Amazon. Those trusted long-term relationships give insight into everything: customer value, resources and processes, and profit formulas. That streamlines the development of real win-win pivots. So ecosystems are equally important, and my multi-industry domain knowledge of the ecosystems at play, again, across consumer tech, entertainment, media, and retail, means I really understand the entire value chain and can more readily help clients identify potential new customers and value propositions. So it's easier to identify the customer's pain points and whether your resources and processes can help them. And that deep knowledge of existing deal structures and revenue models means it's more likely I can create new deal structures that deliver profit. It also means I understand the certain rights resources that are available or that can be newly created or made newly available that can be monetized long or short term. So for something like Sensorium, before I do the first license, software development, marketing, promotion, or other deal, I'd get into it and understand the cost structure. So platform development and engineering, rights licensing, marketing, cost of content creation or acquisition, as well as the anticipated revenue channel. So are they just going to sell tickets, in-world microtransactions, all that stuff to really help build a successful pivot. And negotiations really bring those pivots to life, and existing agreements are key resources. So considering whether you can or should renegotiate them is a critical step. So would shorter or long-term periods be better? Do changed circumstances make it beneficial to you or even the businesses that you work with to renegotiate the financial terms or payment deadlines? If so, I'd help engage with and actively listen to your business partners to understand and align. See what they value to see what you can provide to achieve the accommodation that you need for your pivot. And for new negotiations, it's the same thing. Align, create, exchange value by engaging and actively listening to your business partners. So your data, brand, IP, even things like payment terms and timing of payment, those are assets or things of value that you can negotiate with your business partners. And Determining what they are will help craft larger business structures like, do you license the IP to third parties? Do you provide services for a fee? Do you have project-based pricing or tiered pricing for even different classes of customers? All of that, of course, leads to your IP. It reaffirms that IP is a key asset. Your technology, your software, your brand, your know-how, your trade secrets. Where you want to call to make sure that they are adequately protected with appropriate trade secret protocols, copyright, trademark, or patent. So, just kind of extrapolating out for spaces, even before the pivot, I would have sought to renegotiate long-term licenses or leases, determine whether they could license their VR tools to other third-party enterprises, maybe things like manufacturing or training, medical, health, and wellness. So that's how it would play out. So pivoting takes time and it's hard. It feels hard because it is. It takes time and effort to analyze your resources and processes, think about potential customers and their value proposition, and profit model to understand what's going on and where you can go. So it takes patience to learn and adjust, but those are just as critical as execution. So, but now I hope you've internalized the elements of a successful pivot to help you through disruptions like COVID or anything else. And combined with these examples of real world LBE VR pivots, you have some inspiration, I hope, and a roadmap for your own pivots. And now you have me too, so please feel free to contact me if or when you need help along the road. And also, please stop by the Nolan Hyman booth while you're here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine.